Hi, I'm Andrea, a youth service librarian with Everett Public Library. You know, there are two things that I love, summer and reading. And my favorite thing about summer is summer reading. Did you know that if you don't read over the summer, your brain can actually start forgetting how to read? It's like all of the vocabulary and reading skills that you've been working on slowly empty out of your brain. But the good news is if you read over the summer, you can actually build on those skills and keep them safe inside your brain. Here at Everett Public Library, we want you to keep your brain fresh. So we challenge you to read for 24 hours over the summer. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, but it only breaks down to 23 minutes a day if you read every day in July and August. That's it, 23 minutes a day. So, how does it work? First, you choose how you want to track your reading. You can choose to do one, or you can do both. Option 1, come to Everett Public Library, pick up a reading log, and track your minutes using that reading log. Or you can go with option 2, sign up for summer reading on our awesome new Reading Challenge website or mobile app, Beanstacks. It's easy to register. You go to epls.org/Beanstack or download the app on the mobile device. It takes just a few minutes and then you can track your reading online. Find out the details about Beanstack registration at epls.org/summer. You can pick up your reading log or sign up on Beanstack starting June 1st, but only the minutes that are read once school is out count towards your 24-hour goal. It is summer reading after all. Now don't forget, listening to reading counts too, and you can read anywhere. Next, finish your 24 hours of reading by August 31st. Once you've read your total of 24 hours, you're ready to request your free prize book. Prizes will be available starting July 1st. That's it. Visit epls.org/summer if you have any questions. But don't go quite yet. We're just getting to the good part of summer reading, the books. We're going to share a few of our favorites to give you some ideas of fun books to check out this summer. See you this summer.
Hi, my name is Eileen, and I'm another librarian at the Everett Public Library. I want to share with you some nonfiction books in our collection. Have you ever looked up at the night sky and wondered who else sees these stars? The book Where Stars Are Scattered is a graphic memoir about refugee Omar Mohamed and his journey across Somalia and into Kenya. It traces his journey as an older brother trying to protect his younger brother, and as he strives to seek opportunities and about the family that come in unlikely places. I classify it as nonfiction, even though there are two fictional characters, because the heart of the story is true and are most of the facts. This is a fantastic graphic novel by the author of Roller Girl, Victoria Jameison, told in vibrant color, humor, and emotion.
Show Me a Sign by deaf author and librarian Clare LeZotte is based on the true history of Martha's Vineyard, an island in Massachusetts just south of Cape Cod. LeZotte lived in Cape Cod around the 1990s, and she learned the history that English settlers moved to the area and they brought with them the recessive trait of deafness and the village sign language that became Martha's Vineyard Sign Language. There were a high percentage of white deaf residents and hearing, and they both signed. Martha's Vineyard Sign Language was one of the building blocks of American Sign Language. Now, the story is told by Mary Lambert. She is deaf, and so is her father. Her mother and her brother are both hearing. Mary doesn't consider her life anything out of the ordinary. However, some recent tragedies are just tearing at their family and how they communicate with each other. Additionally, Mary is really aware of the tension between the white settlers and the Wampanoag people that call this island their home. She feels compelled to challenge this in a subtle way. Now, when a scientist, and I only have the words evil, an evil scientist comes to the island, Mary is forced to see her community from an outside perspective, and it is shattering. Mary will face her greatest challenge. Show Me a Sign is a beautiful story showing how when communication isn't an issue, the things that can be done. Show Me a Sign by Clare LeZotte.
This next book is a history book. It's not your normal textbook history. It's a graphic novel called Black Heroes of the Wild West by James Otis Smith, and it's so fun that I think you may even, after reading it, recommend it to your history teacher as required reading. It features 3 black settlers who moved west to live free and independent lives. People like Stagecoach Mary, a former slave who lived with nuns but had enough guts to challenge gun-carrying gamblers. Or Bass Reeves, a sheriff who regularly outsmarted criminals. And Bob Lemons, one of the best wild horse wranglers in the West.
And Lupe Wong Won't Dance by Donna, Barba, Higuera. There's a lot of things that Lupe Wong would rather do than square dance in PE class. She would rather eat maggot puke, raw. She would rather eat 10 banana slugs a day for the rest of her life. But her uncle has promised her that if she can get straight A's, that he'll introduce her to Fuli Hernandez, the first Chinese-Mexican Major League player. She needs to meet Fuli. She's also Chinese-Mexican, and she lives for baseball. She is going to be the first Major League player, female Major League player. Now, Lupe Wong champions for all sorts of causes, some of them really strong. For example, expanding the options of race on the school standardized tests. She also fights for things that we might not find quite as important. For example, she writes a letter of complaint to BBC because the time is just too long between seasons of Doctor Who. Now, in 7th grade, she's against one of her largest challenges, square dancing in PE. Author Donna Barba Higuera grew up in Central California, but now she lives in Washington State with her family, 3 dogs, and 2 frogs. And in Lupe Wong Won't Dance, she talks about the Mariners. She talks about the Everett Aqua Sox. It's really fun reading about things that are happening in our backyard. I really hope you have an opportunity to check out this hilarious book, Lupe Wong Won't Dance, by Donna Barba Higuera.
Have you ever just wanted to be normal? The book Normal, One Kid's Extraordinary Journey is about the real kid who inspired the movie and the book Wonder. Nathaniel Newman and his mom Magda take turns telling the story of how he lived his childhood with Treacher Collins syndrome, a syndrome affecting the bones in his face. Before he was 15 years old, Nathaniel had 67 surgeries, just to be able to do things like breathe, eat, and hear. But for Nathaniel, this was normal. He was a normal kid. He was a normal kid who liked the things he liked, had his own personality, had his own fantastic sense of humor. This book made me question, what is normal? And what if the differences that we all have are just totally normal?
Becoming Muhammad Ali by James Patterson and Kwame Alexander is a historical fiction biography of Muhammad Ali before the age of 17. This book was written with the full cooperation and authorization by the Muhammad Ali estate. Now, Kwame Alexander is a poet, an educator, and a New York Times bestseller of over 30 books. He believes that poetry can change the world, and he uses it to inspire and empower young people. When Kwame was about 10 or 11 years old, he found a copy of The Greatest, Muhammad Ali's autobiography. He could not put down this 400-plus page book. Ever since then, his admiration for Muhammad Ali has only grown. For this book, he interviewed friends, people who lived in his neighborhood, and even family. James Patterson is the other writer for this book, and his career is characterized by a single mission: to prove to everyone, from children to adults, that there is no such thing as someone who doesn't like to read. Only people who have not found the right book yet. This book is written in prose and verse. The young Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay, his voice is written by Kwame Alexander and is written in verse, so lines, groups of lines, stanzas, poetry, which is absolutely perfect for the voice of Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali was a poet. James Patterson wrote the voice of Ali's best friend, Lucky, and his voice is written in prose, so sentences combine to make paragraphs. James Patterson and Kwame Alexander join to write about Muhammad Ali's life, and it includes childhood friendships, his struggles in school, the racism that he faced, and even his part in the civil rights movement. We learn how he began training for boxing at the age of 12 years old, and he won soon after his first Golden Glove bout and began his transformation into the unrivaled Muhammad Ali. Becoming Muhammad Ali by James Patterson and Kwame Alexander.
Since our summer reading theme is called Tales for Tales, I feel like I should tell you about a book related to animals. Well, the book I'm going to tell you about is called Dung for Dinner, and it's by Christine Virnig. The subtitle? A stomach-churning look at the animal poop, pee, vomit, and secretions that people have eaten and still often do. That's the rest of the title. From astronauts drinking their own pee to exploding camel dung, this book is great for anyone fascinated by disgusting things. And that's all. That's the end of our summer reading book talks. Don't forget to sign up for Beanstack or come by the Everett Public Library to sign up for summer reading. See you soon. Bye-bye.